Is it shared?
नो सर, अभी तो नहीं कुछ।
No, sir.
It must be shared. Okay, fine. Give me a moment. Okay, fine. Is it shared now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. So let's start with something which we will always be revolving about. Fine. So data structures. Yeah, people have started joining here. The moment I've started, demand fitness. Vapo, is it you?
सर अभी एक ऋतिक भी आ रहा है, जस्ट मिनट।
Okay, fine, fine, fine. यार 7 बजे बोला गया था आप लोगों को. You guys are late. आपका कॉलेज तो शायद 6 बजे खत्म हो जाता है ना, 5 साढ़े 5 बजे.
4:20.
4:20. I know that, man. Gautam. Okay, fine. चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं अब. आई थिंक जिसको ज्वाइन करना होगा वो कर लेगा बात. ओके फाइन. सो व्हाई वी आर हियर. फाइन. दिस इज मोहम्मद सास. आई थिंक ये भी पारुल से ही है शायद. आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग. फाइन. Okay, fine. So before starting with anything, can I expect an introduction from your end? Like the people who are here can just give their introduction, and the introduction will consist only their college and the year in which they are. Fine. And the amount of knowledge they are having in terms of data structures. So can we start with Priyanshu?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good
Myself,
evening, ma'am.
Priyanshu,
Yeah.
and I am from Parul University.
Okay.
I joined your this bootcamp from you. Taught me DSA in my impact training,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
knowledge about DSA, sir. You know me.
Like, are you having the basic things of data structures, like
Yes, sir. Yes,
how the things work? Is it?
yes, sir. So
Okay,
last day I
fine.
came to give interview to you.
Okay. So you guys are in your fourth year, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, fine, fine. Let's start with the another guy. This is Chetan Reddy. Buddy, can you start with your introduction? The basic introduction. That's it. Chetan, you're here. Let's make it more interactive, man, please. Okay. Uh, that's Gautam, not Gautam. It's Yash Bhosle. Can you go next?
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Hello.
So my name is Yash.
Mhm.
I'm in final year and I'm in Lovely Professional University. Uh,
Okay. Okay. From
so
LPU.
हाँ, यस सर एमपीओ आपने मुझे पढ़ाया था बूट कैम्प में।
Mm-hmm.
आपने जो जावा के नोट्स दिए थे वो बहुत यूज़फुल थे मेरे लिए और
Mm-hmm.
मुझे डीएसए का बेसिक नॉलेज है कि सब चीज़ कैसे मतलब वर्क कैसे करता है।
अगर बेसिक्स के टर्म्स में देखें तो बेसिक्स मतलब कितना बेसिक्स मतलब अगर मतलब सॉरी सर एक्चुअली आई एम गोइंग टू रूम इन अ बस. ओके फाइन. यू कैन आप विद द रिकॉर्डिंग फाइन. सो बेसिक्स मतलब कितना बेसिक्स लाइक यू गाइस आर इनटू द बेसिक्स ऑफ प्रोग्रामिंग द बेसिक्स ऑफ डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स और
नो
लाइक व्हाट्स द बेसिक.
प्रोग्रामिंग सर ठीक-ठाक आता है। मतलब
हम्म.
जावा में आता है। अ,
हम्म.
और डीएसए का बोलूँ तो डेटा स्ट्रक्चर में वो लिंक लिस्ट, क्यू वो सब कैसे काम करता है, स्टैक वो कैसे काम करता है
हम्म.
वो पता है मुझे। और
हम्म.
एल्गोरिदम में टू पॉइंटर वो हो गया स्लाइडिंग टू पॉइंटर या फिर जो
हम्म.
बाकी सब हो गया वो थोड़ा बहुत पता है। एल्गोरिदम का ज़्यादा पता नहीं है, मतलब डेटा स्ट्रक्चर है।
ओके ओके फाइन मतलब बेसिकली कंटेनर्स के बारे में जानते हैं आप. The basic, like what are the containers, the types of containers, and on what basis containers will be classified. Is it?
हाँ
Is
हाँ
it?
सर, हाँ
Okay, fine, fine. Thank you, Yash. Can you go with Kathan?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, man. How are you?
Sir, fine, sir. I am from Kathan Jain from Parur University, IT
Yeah.
department. सर आप अभी मेरे मेंटर हैं
Hey,
और
that's fine.
इसकी
That's
वजह
fine.
से मैं आपसे
So,
कनेक्टेड भी हूँ बहुत ज़्यादा.
yeah, thank you so much. So, the Kathan, if I have to, if I'll be asking that rate yourself on the scale of 5 in terms of data structures, so how much marks you gonna give yourself?
सर
Is it
3
three?
क्योंकि मुझे मेरे से मतलब टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी लग जाती है पर कभी कभार
Mm-hmm.
मैं बहुत ज़्यादा उसमें अटक जाता हूँ कि क्वेश्चंस
Mm-hmm.
नहीं लगते हैं मुझसे.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
तो मैं 5 आउट ऑफ 3 देना चाहता हूँ. पर मैं जब
Okay.
से आपसे कनेक्ट हुआ हूँ
Mm-hmm.
तो मुझे मतलब कॉन्फिडेंस भी आया है और बहुत ज़्यादा मज़ा भी आ रहा है डीएसए पढ़ने में.
Okay. Thank you so
That's
much. Thank you, Kathan. Anyone else who's being left out? Is it Faz? Mohammed Faz? You there? I think ये शायद पारुल से ही है. Mohammed Faz, you there?
Hello,
Yeah, Faz, go ahead.
I am from Paris and
Okay.
last year.
Okay. Like you're in your final year, right?
हाँ,
Okay, fine. Go next.
मेरे को डीएसए का थोड़ा थोड़ा नॉलेज है.
Mm-hmm.
लिंक्ड लिस्ट है, स्टैक क्यू.
Okay, okay, fine. So basically तुम्हें भी कंटेनर्स के बारे में पता है थोड़ा बहुत. That's it. Fine. Okay, that's it. So anyone else who's being left out? I think some of the people have joined just.
Sir, I am
Uh,
remaining. My
yeah, Vaibhav.
introduction.
Yeah, Vaibhav. Go ahead.
Hi everyone, myself Vaibhav Juman, and
Mm-hmm.
I am currently pursuing my study at Parul University. And सर अभी आप मेरे को इन पे ट्रेनिंग में मिले थे एंड मैं तो
Mm-hmm.
वैसे बहुत स्टडी में एवरेज हूँ. एंड
Mm-hmm.
फिर आपसे मिलने के बाद मेरे को काफ़ी अच्छा लगा एंड मेरे को इंटरेस्ट आने लगा डीएसए सब में. तो मतलब आपको
Thank
देख के
you.
लगता है कि मतलब पढ़ने का मन करता है.
And that's
मतलब
it,
आप.
man. बस. इंट्रोडक्शन
हाँ
देना है. अभी फिलहाल
सर.
इंट्रोडक्शन देना है.
ओके सर,
Fine.
ओके ओके.
Okay, that's it. Like, can we go with Sai Ganesh next?
Hello, sir.
Hello, man. How are you?
Good man. How are you?
All good, man. Just can you just go with your basic introduction? That's it.
Yes,
Your
sir.
year, your college.
I'm doing. I'm right now. I'm doing a full stack development job, but I don't know the. I'm basically coming from the mechanical department.
You
I
got
don't
that.
know the DSA,
Mm-hmm.
but for the going to the upper level, I
Mm-hmm.
need to have the man companies. For the man companies,
Mm-hmm.
I need the DSA.
Okay, got that. Got that.
That's
Got
why
that.
I'm looking
So
for.
means so that means you're a working professional right now. Fine, you're working somewhere. Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Who's left? Who's this G4TY? ये आपकी गेमिंग आईडी है क्या? G4TY. You there? यार लोग अभी भी ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं. अच्छा. Okay, fine. I think everyone is done with their introduction, right? So, sir, I'm traveling. Okay, fine. Traveling करते करते क्लास करेंगे आप. Okay. Who's this Sheikh? Jilan Sheikh. Buddy, can we just go with your basic introduction so that we can start with the class because you are the last guy who's been left. Jilan Sheikh. If I'm taking a name in a right way, can you start with your introduction? What happened, यार? ये भी traveling कर रहे हैं क्या? Okay, fine. Let's start with something, यार. Let's not waste just time. Fine. So we are here to cover something, and our whole story is revolving around this data structures and algorithm. Fine. So before starting with anything, the question is why we are going with this guy. Then the second question is how to use this guy. And the third question is when to use this guy. Fine. So Like if you'll be going with all the influencers, all the Didi Bhaiyas and all, fine. So they are being revolving around this word and they are making so much of profits with that. Profits in the sense they will be like they would be making this thing a very damn लाइक बढ़ा चढ़ा के बोलना फाइन सो इट्स नॉट समथिंग जिसको आप ये समझ के बैठे हैं कि भाई अगर हम ये शुरू करते हैं तो इट विल टेक अराउंड माई 6 मंथ्स फाइन ऐसा कुछ नहीं है द होल स्टोरीज इज अबाउट 4 मंथ्स और ये 4 मंथ तब है जब यू विल बी सॉल्विंग द क्वेश्चंस ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ पैटर्न्स फाइन अब सर ये पैटर्न क्या है पैटर्न कवर करने के लिए व्हाई आई एम नीडिंग दीज 4 मंथ्स एंड इस 4 महीने में करेंगे क्या एग्जैक्टली उसके बारे में बाद में बात करते हैं फर्स्ट लेट्स स्टार्ट विद डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स एंड ये आप जो भी टॉपिक स्टार्ट हो रहा है इसके लिए आपको कोई भी प्रायर नॉलेज की जरूरत नहीं है फाइन प्रायर नॉलेज का मतलब आपको इसकी कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन अगर नहीं भी है आपके पास आप ये फर्स्ट टाइम देख रहे हैं तो उसकी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है फाइन लेट्स से आई वांट यू टू स्टोर 5000 liters of water for me fine and anyone who can tell me that what you will be doing if I'll be giving you 5000 liters of water. What would be the first step of yours if I would be giving you 5000 liters of water? सबसे पहले क्या करेंगे आप? Anyone who can answer us?
डिवाइड करेंगे अगर एक साथ तो ले ही नहीं सकते
No man, like
We'll divide it into chunks, small chunks.
we'll divide it into small chunks. Uh, like it can be the answer. It can be the answer. But tell me one thing. सबसे पहली चीज क्या करोगे अगर मैं तुमको एक इतने ज्यादा अमाउंट का वाटर दे दूंगा पुट इट इन
सर
कंटेनर
देखूंगा कि कैसे क्या होगा
stored into tank.
yeah that's it fine so the moment when I'll be giving you 5000 the moment when I'll be giving you 5000 liters of water please mute yourself someone is unmute fine so the very first thing which you'll be doing is to take a container and the size of that container should be at least 5000 liters. Fine. So the capacity of this container should be at least 5000 liters. That means this container can be 5100 liters capacity. This container can be 5005 liters of capacity. But this container will not be having a capacity below 5000. That means अगर वो 4999 भी है so that will be not acceptable. Fine. So if I have to store my data, if I have to manipulate my data, the very basic requirement for me will be choosing the container for that data. I'm storing my data in a container. So the property of data will be decided on the basis of container. And the vice versa is also applicable. The property of a container will be decided by the amount of data and the type of data. The next question is, I have chosen a container and the size of that container was according to the size of my input. Basically the thing is if I would be having 10,000 liters of water so मैं यहाँ पे एक container लेता whose capacity will be 10,000 liters. So according to my data my container will be chosen. Fine. The next thing is let's say there's a container in which I'm storing water but I cannot store petrol in the same container. Let's say I have stored 10 liters of petrol in this container. I cannot store diesel in the same container. What does it mean? So it complies my data will be deciding the type of container. Before that, the type of my data will be deciding the type of my container. So basically, water will be stored in a different container, diesel will be stored in a different container, and petrol will be stored in a different container. So I cannot mix the containers. I cannot manipulate the containers. Containers, the property of containers are fixed. If a container is being made to store petrol, वो petrol ही store करेगा. Your vehicle is capable to store petrol only. You cannot store diesel, you cannot store water in that. Fine. So according to your data, your container is being clarified, your container is being decided. So there are two things. To choose a container, first you have to specify the size of your data. And the second thing which you have to choose is the type of your data. So a container will be decided on the basis of two things, the type of data which it will hold and the amount of data it will hold. That's it. So from now onwards, if someone will be asking you that what data structure means, data structure is a container in which data will be stored on the basis of two properties. The first property is the size of that data. The second property is the type of that data. Size means 1000 liters of water and type means I'll have to store what. That's it. So in whole data structures, you'll have to be you the real reason of your tension will be revolving around, man, how can I use this container with this data? Fine. Choosing the container, manipulating the data, and finding the optimal approach. If I'll be combining all of the three things, I would end up getting a definition of data structures and algorithm. Fine. So the very first thing which I did is I have stored the data in my container on the basis of the property and the type property and the size of the data. The next thing is, man, I've stored my data. But what after that? Data स्टोर तो कर लिया बट अब क्या करें? The next process is called as manipulation in that data. अब डेटा स्टोर तो कर लिया, अब करना क्या है उस डेटा का? फाइन. सो let's go with some real life example. So I have three persons. The first person is my user one, the second person is my user two, and the third person is my user three. Fine. So what I did, I have given 1000 liters of water to this guy, and my condition is you just have to put a tap in that container so that people can retrieve the water in that from that container, right? So what this person will do, this person will be taking a container and the size of that container will be at least 1000. That guy will fill that water in this container and will put a tap here so that people can retrieve the water. And then there was a second guy. What he will be doing, he'll be taking a container and he'll divide this container into four different portions, and every portion will contain 250 liters of water. And what that guy did, he will be putting a tap in every section. Fine. Then I have user number three, and what user number three will do, that guy will also be taking a container of at least 1000 liters. But this guy will be dividing the whole container into 10 different sections. One of the tap will be here, the second one will be here, the third one will be here, then the fourth one, the fifth one, the sixth one, the seventh one, the eighth one, the ninth one, and you can apply one more. Fine. So just to demonstrate you this thing, let's say the user number one have filled the whole water in the same container and there was only one tap. The user number two have made four sections and every section is having four taps. Every section is having one tap. So there are in total four taps and here there are in total 10 taps. Basically फायदा क्या हो रहा है? What's the benefit of applying multiple taps here? So the benefit is now four people can retrieve the water at the same time, and this section will not disturb the other section. This section will not disturb the other section. That means I'm retrieving my data without creating hindrance in other data set. Now the user number three have created 10 different sections which have 10 different tabs. That simply means now 10 people can retrieve the water at the same time, and none of any section will create hindrance in the other section. So for me, this is the optimal approach. Now, if you'll notice one thing, the amount of data is same. All these three people are getting same amount of data, that is water. I'm treating my water as my data. So this water is treated as my data, and that amount of data is same. All these three guys are having 1,000 liters of water, and the container is also same. The size of the container is also same, but storing the data is stored. But the way of storing the data is different. This person is storing in an in other way. This person is storing in an other way, and this person is storing in a very completely different way. So, the way by which you will store your data and manipulate your data in the most optimal approach, that whole process is called as data structures and algorithm. I'm repeating once again, storing and manipulate the data in a more optimal way is called as data structures and algorithm. I'll store my data, I'll manipulate that data, and the way which I'll be using to manipulate that data to get an optimal solution. Basically, this user 3 will be called as a guy who have used the most optimal algorithm. And what's an algorithm? Algorithm simply means a way to find the solution, the steps to find a solution. And the steps will be called as optimal if that algorithm is giving a solution which is taking less time. That's it. So guys, can you just give me a thumbs up if I'm being clear with what is data structures and algorithms, like why we are using this and what complies. Anyone who's having any kind of doubt, please ask. Otherwise, just raise your hand if you're okay with it. Priyanshu. Yeah, Priyanshu, go ahead. Do you have any doubt?
No, sir. You said that he raised your hand if you are clear with it.
I'm not able to hear you. I think आप बाहर है शायद.
नो सर, कोई डाउट नहीं है। आपने बोला ना कि आपको क्लियर है तो रेज हैंड करो।
Raise hand means just give me a thumbs up. That will be okay. Yeah, Kathan, go ahead.
नहीं सर, कोई डाउट नहीं है।
Okay, fine. Okay. आप नोट डाउन नहीं भी करोगे?
Sir,
हाँ, या
sir,
साइन.
one doubt, sir.
या प्लीज.
Sir, in which case studies we will use this kind of architecture, sir, DS architecture? Like I mean, in the in the way of creating the creating some kind of I
Mm-hmm.
mean
Mm-hmm.
HTML in CSS, that kind of thing, or else
Mm-hmm.
for the
Okay.
data discovery, that kind of thing.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. The thing is कि have you worked on memory?
We worked on I worked on
Mm-hmm.
React, sir, full stack development.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Do you know what's DOM?
DOM, yeah,
What's a DOM? I'm asking you, what's a DOM? DOM is a tree which represents your whole HTML code. DOM is a tree which represents your whole platform, whole website. Are you getting my point? The structure of your website is being made with HTML. Fine. And DOM implies document object model, which represents your whole HTML code into the form of a tree. And tree is a data structure.
okay,
React works on virtual DOM. Do you know this
okay,
thing?
okay. Yes,
Fine.
sir.
So basically the thing is कि if I'll have to start with anything, so people will be like कि sir, where data structure is being needed, why we are going with this thing. So उसका reason ये है कि if you will ignore this thing, you won't be getting anything, you won't be getting anything bad. Fine, you won't be having any regret on that. But the thing is कि if you'll be keeping this guy in your pocket, हमेशा एक edge मिलेगा. If you are working as a full stack developer or Android developer और कुछ भी काम कर रहे हो. Without a container, you cannot imagine anything. Fine. Whether it's your network calls, whether it's your memory, whether it's your browser, every single thing is occupied by a memory, and that memory is called as a container. Are you getting my point, Ganesh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got it.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Sir, and we can use this kind of architecture in also in data engineering part also.
Yeah, you can. The thing is कि if you have the basic knowledge of implementation, आप कहीं भी implement करो. It's up to you. Fine.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Fine. So we are done with the basics of the definition of data structures and algorithm. Fine. Let's start with something called as variables and data types. I won't be giving much, I won't be emphasizing much on these topics because the intro is important. Fine. So, what are variables? Anyone who can help me with this? What are variables? Anyone who can help me with this? What are variables?
To store the data.
To storing the values, to storing the data types.
To store the data type. Anyone else who can help me with? Yeah. Anyone
Data
else?
values.
Yeah. इसके पास कोई और आंसर है? Is there anyone else?
So list, tuple, bool, something. These are the we can store as a variables.
Okay. Okay. Reference. Are you talking about reference?
So
Have you
name
just?
given to the memory location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the correct answer, man. That's what I expecting for, right? So variables. So if you'll be going for the definition of these things, so you'll be getting variables are being used to store the data, and data type is the container where you store data. Man, both are the same thing. We guys are giving the same definition for both of the things, but it's not like that. Fine. When you will be talking about the memory works in a very different way. The memory works on addressing. Fine. Every location is having an address. For me, my address is my home. If I have to order something, so I'll be giving my address to that guy. Hey man, when you'll be here, just please just do let me know and give me a call. Fine. So without having an address, how can you imagine any location? So what's a location? Location simply means the address of a venue, right? Let's start with a real life example. Let's say there's a box on which D1 is being written, right? And this D1 will be called as a data type. I just told you about the container. The container is being specified with the type of data and the size of data. So I have different containers. When I'll be talking about non-primitive memories, non-primitive data type. So we are aware with that. That is int, long, float, double, and short, fine, character. We have so many, right? So these are called as non-primitive data types. So a container is being decided on the basis of two things: the type of data in which the type of data I'll be holding in that, the size of data I'll be holding in that. So a data type is a container which will specify the type and size of your data. That is, integer will be storing and only integer values, and the range of the size of integer data type is fixed. The size of long data type is fixed. Fine. But what is a variable? Let's say I have a box on which I have written D1 and I have three floors. Fine. And on every floor, I'm having four rooms. And what I did, I've asked my maid, hey, can you please bring this box? Fine. And you haven't specified the location of this box to your maid. So what your maid will do, your maid will start searching from this row, and if she wouldn't be able to find that box, so she would be here, then she would be here, and in the worst case scenario, let's say the box is in the last room. The box is at the last room, and that room is on the last floor. So let's say to search in a room, your maid takes 10 seconds, and she would end up taking 10 into 12, that is 120 seconds, which is in total 2 minutes. And you've asked your maid to bring that back in 10 seconds. So in this case, you will be getting an error, which is a very famous error that is being called as TLE, time limit exceeded. So you have allocated some amount of time, and the operations which are being done has taken some more amount of time. बेसिकली सीन ये है, मैंने बोला कि आई विल बी देयर इन 5 seconds एंड मैं वहां पे 1 मिनट में पहुंच रहा हूँ. सो आई हैव been in a situation, and that situation is called as TLE, time limit exceeded. Fine. So आपने दिया अपने मेट को 10 seconds और वो काम 120 seconds में करके आए. But why it's taking this much of time? So if you would have informed your maid, hey, do one thing, go on the second floor, and the bag is in the third room, or go on the third floor, the bag is in the second room. So this second floor, third floor, second room, these words, these specifications are being called as variables, because these words are having the location of my data. So variables is not a container. Variables are not a container in which you'll be storing your data. Variables are the location of your stored data. So if this is my memory, if this whole house is my memory, this is the block of a memory in which I've stored this data, and the reference, the location of that data is my variable name. That's it. So variables are not the container in which you'll be storing your data. They are the reference of your stored data. That's it. Guys, give me a thumbs up if I'm being clear with variables and data types. Is it clear? सबको क्लियर है वेरिएबल्स एंड डेटा टाइप्स क्या होता है? इज देयर एनीवन हु वांट टू आस्क एनीथिंग? किसी को कुछ पूछना है इसमें? सबको क्लियर है?
Could you please repeat once, just short?
Yeah, sure. So, Jillian, I was saying that the variable is not a container to store the data. Variable is a reference of your stored data. Is Variable is the location of your stored data in the memory. Fine. So let's say what I did. I've taken I've taken a variable, and the name of that variable is age. Fine. So age is integer value. So for that, I'll be taking a container that will be of integer type, that is int. And now I'll be taking the name of that variable, that is age, and I'll be storing my age in that is 24. Fine. So this int will be called as a data type. This age will be called as the variable, the reference of this data. So 24 is somewhere in my memory, but how will I find that 24? The location of that 24 in my memory is this age. So variables are the reference, the location of your store data. Am I clear, Jillian? Is it fine now?
Sir, in the case of Python, it won't
Yes,
be
yes.
data type,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, it's fine.
In the case of
Python.
Mhm.
We won't write int and everything, no, sir. We will
Yeah.
write A equals to
Mhm.
20,
Mhm.
30, like that.
Okay. So in the case of Python is loosely typed. Fine. But tell me one thing, the moment when you take input, you'll have to specify that which type of input it would be. Are you getting my point? So type specification is there, but although it's loosely typed, so we don't use to specify that. But the moment when I have written, so let me just give you an answer of that. Fine. This should be clear. So in Python, we don't use int, we just write age is equals to 12. That's it. But man, the thing is, this 12 is an integer value. if you'll find the type of, there's a function type of in Python. So if you'll find type of age, you'll be getting integer. That means somehow integer is being treated, integer is being stored. Are you getting my point, Ganesh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fine. So basically, you're not specifying the type, but although you are using that type, fine. Okay.
Okay, sir. I
Yeah.
got it.
Now let's start with the next thing. The next topic which we have is operations on data structures. So in data structures, we have five basic operations, fine. And those five operations are being called as the manipulations and the algorithms which are being used in data structures. Anyhow, they are being connected with these five operations. Fine. So I can just say one thing. If you're solving any problem means any problem in data structures, you will always be dealing with these five operations. Any of these five operations will be the solution of your problem. That's it. Fine. So these five operations are being called as the manipulation techniques in data structures. Fine. So the first operation is searching. The second operation is sorting. The third operation is deletion. The fourth operation is insertion. And the fifth is my traversal. So what does it mean? I have five operations and what these five operations are being used for, right? So let's start with the first one. The first operation is searching, right? So what's searching for me, right? So let's say I have 40 students in my class and there's a student named XYZ and I have to search this guy. But searching is being done for two reasons. Fine. The first reason is I just want to check the availability of my data. Second, if that data is available, what's the place or what's the index of that data? What's the place or index of data? Let's understand in a very deep way, right? So let's say I have 40 students in my class and I just have to check that, hey man, do I have the name XYZ student in my class? If that student is available, if that student is present, give me the location of that guy, at which bench that guy is there. Fine. So maybe that guy would be at the third column, second bench. Maybe that guy would be at the second column, fourth bench. Fine. So if that guy is available in my class, first give me an acknowledgement that guy is available, and if he's available, give me the location of that guy. So searching is being done for two reasons. The first reason is to check the availability of that data. The data which I'm searching for, is my data is available in my data set. If it is available, then only give me the location. Fine. So searching in data structure simply means getting a value to check that the value is available. And if that value is available, what's the place of that value? What's the index of that value? That's it. So availability matters, with that value matters. And if I want to combine both of the things, I'll be getting an operation that is called as searching. Make sense, guys? Am I making sense? Are we on the same page?
Which operation, sir?
Searching. Guys, are you on the same page? सबको clear है?
Yes, sir.
What's searching? Fine.
Yep,
Then,
yep.
yeah, thank you. Then we have the second operation. Fine. Second operation is being called as. So we'll going with these operations one by one. But
Sorting.
yeah, but let me just give you an introduction why these operations are being used for, and if I'll be using these operations, what will be the motto of mine. Fine. Let's start with the second operation. Let me just minimize this. I have sorting. Fine. So sorting simply means arrangement. So what's arrangement means? Why we need arrangement? The reason is, let's say I have a room, and in that room everything is just messy, not number 10. Fine. Everything is just messy means none of the things are at the right place. So tell me one thing. If I have to search anything, let's say I have to search my watch. So will it be an easy task for me to search my watch in that? Give me yes or no. Say me yes or no. क्या मेरे लिए ढूंढना आसान होगा मेरी वॉच को इस रूम में?
No,
So I won't be able to find that
no.
watch. And if I would be finding that watch, so I would end up taking more time. If I have time constraints,
You're saying systematic way.
what? What happened?
Systematic way you are saying
Yes.
about.
Systematic.
Systematic way.
Systematic. Ganesh, systematic is something a very theoretical thing. Fine. In programming, systematic is
Okay,
not being used. क्योंकि systematic का कोई order नहीं होता है. Are you getting my
okay.
point? Yeah. So I have this room and everything is being just here and there, and I just have to search my watch. So I would end up taking more time. But tell me one thing, if I have a room and everything is at the right place, the table is here, the recliner is here, the drawers are being filled, none of the things are here and there. Can I just say one thing? If I have to search my watch in this room, so I would get my watch in a very less amount of time. Say me yes or no. Have
Yes,
I
sir.
have I reduced my searching time? Have I reduced my
Yep.
operation? So to reduce the operations, to reduce the amount of manipulations, we use shorting. Shorting is being done just for two reasons. The first reason is if my whole data will be arranged, for me it is very easy to search something. And if my whole data is arranged, it is very easy to delete or insert anything. Basically, the thing is, let's say when we were kids, so the time of our assembly, let's say we were having our assembly, right? Fine. So the guy who's the shortest one will be in the front, and the guy who's the tallest one will be in the back. Then the guy just greater than this one, then just greater, just greater, just greater, and at last quite lesser, 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 lesser. That's it. So why this is being done? It's being done because let's say there was a stage, and let's say there's any event or there's any speech is being going on. So every person in that line can see that event, because if this guy is the height of this guy is 5 feet, the guy who will be beside that guy, behind that guy, will be at 5'1". So every person can see that event. So shorting is arrangement, and arrangement is being done for two reasons. The first reason is if I'm searching something, that searching requires a very less amount of time, because I will be knowing this thing, man. If that data is arranged, so my data would be at that particular place. Second, if that data is available, so if I want to add something, so I should be knowing this thing. Let's say, I have a guy who's height is 5'2", and I have a guy whose height is 5'3", and they both are adjacent to each other. 5'2" guys is in front and 5'3" guy is behind. So let's say I have to add a guy whose height is around 5'2.5". So I know this thing. If the height of this guy is 5'2.5", that guy will be after 5'2", and that guy would be before 5'3", because the value is in the middle of 5'2" and 5'3". So I'll be putting this guy in the middle of these two guys. So if my data set is arranged, if my things are arranged, for me, it's very easy to search something. And after that searching, it's very easy to add or delete something from my data set. That's it. So this was something which was related with insertion. How we can delete if my data is arranged? I have an answer for that. And that is, let's say if I have a guy whose height is 5'4", and have a guy whose height is 5'6", and they're very close to each other. 5'4" is in the front and 5'6" is in the back. That means none of the guy is in between that. Fine. And let's say after that, I have a guy whose height is 5'7", and 5'6" and 5'7" are connected with each other. 5'6" is in front and 5'7" is in the back. And let's say I have to remove this guy from the line. I'll have to remove this guy from the queue. So I know this thing ना कि 5'4" के बाद में जाओ, 5'7" के पहले रुक जाओ and delete this guy. So if I have arranged my data set, for me it becomes very easy to search something or to manipulate my data set. That's it. So arrangement make your things easier. That's it. So guys, give me a thumbs up if I'm being clear on this. What searching and arrangement means in data structures.
Sir, we can use further in indexing part also, no, sir?
You
Like
can, yeah,
0,
you
1.
can, you can, you can. But the thing is, कि my whole story is not revolving around indexing. It's revolving around the elements, the values that are present
Yes,
at
yes, yes.
that index. Are you getting my point,
Okay.
Ganesh?
Yes, sir. I got it. I
Yeah,
got.
thank you. The next thing which we have is
सर
insertion. Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
सर प्लीज एक बार अरेंजमेंट फिर से एक्सप्लेन करिए ना.
Yeah, sure. Arrangement simply means, देखो यहाँ पे. So what sorting means? Sorting means arrangement, and arrangement can be done on the basis of two things. The first, that is my ascending order, and the second is my descending order. Fine. So why I'm arranging my data set? Why I'm being hungry for the arrangement? The reason is, if my data set will be arranged, so if I have arranged it in ascending order, the smallest guy will be at the front and the tallest guy will be at the back. But why, sir? Why we are doing this thing? The reason is, let's say if I have to search something and that value is greater than this guy and less than this guy. So I would be knowing this thing now. This value will always be lying in between these two guys. So if that data was not arranged, for me it becomes very difficult to clarify this thing that 5 की real place है कहाँ पे. I will be clueless. I will be clueless to find the exact place of my data. But if my data set will be arranged, I won't be having that much of clue still. But I will be having few of the things. I will be having a range where I have to search my five. Kathan, are you getting my point? So arrangement simply means making
यस
our making our things more easy to make a order. So if my data set is following an order, so it becomes very easy to find that order and to manipulate that data set. Let's say you're in a university, right? So in your university there would be around 30 to 40,000 students. Now tell me one thing, if your data set or your database was not arranged, so kabhi easily would I be able to mark your attendance? Would I be able to clarify that Kathan is in this section and Vabo is in that section?
No, sir.
नहीं हो पाता क्योंकि my data set is not arranged. So why we have made sections in our colleges? Why we have made courses, different branches, and different classrooms for every class? Because we want to arrange the data set in some way. Fine. Section C students will always be called as section C students. It doesn't matter if Kathan is there, Vaibhav is there, Gautam is there. No man. The property of Kathan is to be called by section C student. So this section C, section D, section E, they are part of the arrangement of your data set. So when your data will be arranged, आपके लिए ये चीज बहुत आसान हो जाती है कि अब आगे क्या करें. How I'll search someone, how I'll manipulate someone, and if I'm done with every single thing, how would I be accepting this thing that I just made a manipulation in this particular step? भाई करने को तो कर दोगे मैनिपुलेट, बट मैनिपुलेशन करने के बाद भी तो वो रिकॉर्ड रखना है आपको. आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? सो
Yeah, yeah.
अगर मैं आपसे ये बोलूं कि आई हैव 10 persons in this line and everyone is arranged on the basis of their height, so you would be knowing this thing. Now the person who is at the fifth place will be coming at the fifth position in terms of height. वो पांचवा बंदा होगा जिसकी हाइट पांचवे प्लेस पे आती होगी. आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? So for this reason, we have roll numbers. For this reason, we have registration number. For this reason, we have admission number. So that every data will be connected with each other. So that if I have a registration number of 2015, so in the next, I will be having a registration number of 2016. That's it. Guys, am I clear with arrangement? Give me a thumbs up if I'm being clear on that. Okay, fine. So, if you want to drink water, you can. Let's take a break of it's 8. Let's meet at 8:04. Fine. And don't be worried on that. I will end my session at 9:05 or 9:10. So the time I'm taking for the break will be compensated afterwards, right? So take 5 minutes and we'll be back. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hey guys. Let's start. Okay, fine. Uh, you guys had some water. Basically आपको उतना पानी की जरूरत नहीं है. Fine. लेकिन I'll be needing more water. Just kidding. Okay, fine. So the next we have deletion. Fine. So I think I've already told you about deletion. Fine. So deletion simply means removing something from your data set. Let's say I have 50 persons. I have 50 students in my class. So let's say when that guy was moving from sixth standard to seventh standard, so that guy has left that school, so I'll have to remove that guy from my database, from my data set. That removal is called as deletion. So we don't have to be worried on that. We will be discussing about deletion when we'll be going with some higher data structures. Fine. The fourth operation is insertion. So insertion simply means inserting something in your data set. Let's say I have 50 students in my class, fine. And when I was moving from my sixth standard to seventh standard, there was 10 more students who took admission. Fine. So I will be having 60 students in my class. So I'll have to add 10 students in my database. 10 students in the database of my college, of my school. Fine. So adding something in your database is called as insertion. Adding something in your data structures, deleting something in your data structures is being called as deletion of that. Fine. Now you will always be you will always be listening two words when you're dealing with data structures. The two words are inserting and adding. So basically, if you'll be going with the definition, if you'll be going with the general meaning of inserting and addition, so what simply means they both will imply the same meaning, adding something or uh, updating something. But the thing is, there is a vast difference between inserting and addition. Fine. So addition simply means, let's say I have four guys in this line. So if I want to add the fifth guy, and if I'm performing if I'm performing addition, I'll be adding that guy at the end of my line. But if I'm inserting any guy, so I'll have to specify the place of that guy, the position of that guy. And that position can be at third position, at fourth position, at seventh position. So inserting means adding your data at any particular place. And addition means adding your data at the end of your data set, at the end of your line. So that's how the difference between insertion and addition implies, right? So we are done with the fourth operation. That is, so let me just recap the whole thing. The first operation which we have discussed was searching. Then the second one is sorting. So I'm a very good programmer. I'll be calling it arrangement. The third operation is insertion, and the fourth operation is deletion. So tell me if you have any doubt till now with these four operations or with the things which we have discussed earlier, please ask. Otherwise, give me a thumbs up so that I can move forward. Okay, fine. Thank you.
सर
Yeah, Dhiman.
सर ये ट्रांसवर्सल टॉपिक्स में कवर होगा
What?
ट्रांसवर्सल
Traversal. Yeah, I think I haven't started that. I'm going to start that.
ओके ओके श्योर
Yeah. The fifth operation is traversal. So what traversal means? Anyone who can help me with this? What is a traversal? What's traversal? Anyone who can who knows anything about this? Anyone who can help me with this?
तो जो एक एलिमेंट से दूसरे एलिमेंट तक मतलब लास्ट एलिमेंट तक ट्रेवर्स करे
एक एलिमेंट से दूसरे लास्ट एलिमेंट तक ट्रैवर्स करें। कुछ और कथन, कुछ और।
हर चीज को चेक करे मतलब जो अपन को चीज फाइंड करनी है उसको चेक करे
Uh, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, fine. So
सर
let's.
एक एरे
Okay, fine. Very good. Very good. आप जो बोलने वाले हो मैं समझ गया हूँ. Thank you. Let's say I have a container, and let's say this is a box of gifts, and I have in total 20 balls in that box. So I know the quantity of my balls. I know the quantity of the whole balls. But the thing is, some of the balls are red in color, some of the balls are blue in color, some of the balls are black in color, green in color, and white in color. And I don't know anything about how many balls I have of red colors, black colors, blue, green, and white colors. So how would I get to know this thing? So this box is packed. This box is whole packed. I just know the quantity of these balls. The thing is, if I would be, let's say I just open this box and I would be picking every single ball. Let's say I just picked my first ball and this ball is of white color. I just picked my second ball and this ball is of red color. I just picked my third ball, this ball is of white color. So checking every single element, checking every single data of your whole data set is called as traversal. Similarly, I would be picking up my fourth ball, fifth ball, sixth ball, and at last I would be picking my 20th ball. So, extracting every single element of your data set, extracting every single data of your data set is called as traversal. I'm adding one more definition, which I believe would be the best one. That is seeing your whole content of your data set. What does it mean? I have a class, and that class is having 20 students. I'm going one by one to every student, and I was like, hey man, what's your name? So at the end of my whole iteration, at the end of my whole operation, I would be knowing the names of those 20 persons. How would I got the names of those persons? I just went through them. I just went to them and I was like, man, what's your name? So going to every element of your data set, seeing the whole content, the whole students of your class, that process is being called as traversal and data structures. Guys, give me a thumbs up if I'm being clear on this. What is a traversal means? Anyone who's having any kind of doubt with this? What's a traversal? Thank you. So we are done with the basic 5 operations on data structures, right? So those 5 operations are searching, sorting. आज के बाद कभी भी कोई पूछे what's an operation, what is the operation in data structures, आप हमेशा बोलोगे we have 5 operations: searching, sorting, insertion, deletion, and traversal. Fine. The next thing we will be starting with is functions. So anyone who can help me with this, what are functions? Anyone? I think this could be the very basic thing. This could be the very easy thing for you to tell me that to tell me. I don't want the definition. I don't want how it works. I just want to know the motto of using a function. That's it. Anyone who can help me with this because I'm expecting this answer कि आप बताओगे मुझे what is a function and why we use a function. Anyone who can help me with this?
To reuse the code.
Function is the block of code,
Mhm.
and we can reuse the code. I mean, multiple ways.
Function is a block of code and we can reuse the code in a multiple way. यही is it?
Yes, yes, yes.
Anyone
Yeah.
else? Anyone else? किसी के पास कुछ और definition है? Anyone else? Anyone else? Kathan, Vaibhav, anyone else who's having any other definition, any other things to say that why we use a function? Because I'm expecting this thing because that's a very basic thing. Can I expect this from Yash? Can you help me with this? Why we use functions? Yash, can you help me with this?
Sir,
Yeah,
sir, basically function is a method uh, and so वो उसको हम reuse कर सकते हैं बस
reuse कर
इसीलिए
सकते हैं.
हाँ
बहुत बढ़िया. I was just waiting for this answer. Fine. So सबने सही बताया. सबने सही बताया. So basically the thing is इस पे बहुत ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लेंगे. बस एक छोटा सा इंट्रो देखेंगे. What is a function? सर नेटवर्क स्लो है. No man, my bandwidth is fine. अच्छा आपका नेटवर्क स्लो है. See, my bandwidth is fine. Katan, is it your network which is slow or it's mine? Guys, can you hear me properly? Can you see my screen properly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir. मेरा network slow.
Okay, no issue.
Yes.
So, okay, fine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
functions.
My network, sir.
Okay, fine. So functions are the block of code. What are blocks? All those things which are being written inside of these curly braces. So basically, the thing is, let's say I have a watch, and that watch is inside a box, and I just have to wrap this box so that I can gift it someone else. Fine. So if I have to wrap my whole box, so what would it be? I'll have to start from one corner of that box and will end my wrapping with the other corner of my box. So these two corners will be carrying the wrapping of my whole box. So what's a function? Function is a block of code. And what's a block? Everything which is being written inside these curly braces. I just set my range, and the range is from this particular point to that particular point. So basically, if I'm moving from my school to my home, so this is the initials of my journey, and this is the final point of my journey. So if I'll be combining all of these, I cannot move in this direction, and I cannot move after this particular venue. Fine. So basically, this is my lower limit, and this is my higher limit, and this will be called as the block. I'm being blocked in a range. So it is a block of code which will specify the instructions. Every function will be carrying only one instruction. Now let's start with something why we use function. We are done with what is a function, but now the whole story is, sir, in programming, the answer lies in the motto. Fine. So let's say I have written 1,000 lines of code. Fine. And in these 1,000 lines of code, let's say at line number 5, what I have to do, I have to I have to add two numbers, A and B. So let's say I have 5 and 10, and my answer would be 15. Let's say after more iterations, at line number 16, I got to know this thing. Man, this time I'll have to add three values, A plus B plus C. And the numbers are 5, 10, 5. That is 20. And let's say after more iterations at line number 30, I got to know this thing. Now I'll have to add two values again, but the values are 15 and 20, which will give me 35. So basically, if you'll notice one thing, let's say you must have heard a line, and that line is, "Hey man, I've written a clean code. My code is clean." So what simply means? What does that clean simply means? Clean means you have written something in which you don't have any redundancy. So what redundancy means? It simply means the code is being written in such a way nothing is repeating, because repetition will cause extra iteration. Repetition will allow to add some more time. If I'm doing the same thing every single time, I'm taking the same amount of time to that thing. If I can write something like that so that I can use it whenever I need. So let's say what I'll be do, I'll be making a function with the name add, and this function will be taking two parameters from me. The first parameter will be A and the second parameter will be B. So let's say at line number 5, I have called my add function and I just passed 5 and 10. At line number 30, I just called this function and I have passed 15 and 20. For 15 and 20, this guy would be giving me 35, and for 5 and 10, this guy would be giving me 15. So I've written a logic, I've written a set of instruction in one function, and I'm calling that function according to my need. So if I'll have to add two values for 1,000 number of times, and the values are being different in every addition, I'll just make a function, will give two parameters, and it will always be returning my A plus B. That means I'll write something for one time and I'll use that guy according to my need. So आज के बाद से सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक लाइन बोलेंगे, and that line would be, functions are being used to make the code reusable. It's being used to achieve code reusability. Second, it is being used to write the clean code, and clean code means a code without redundancy. अगर आप अपने इंटरव्यूअर को, if you'll be using this word with your interviewer, that is code redundancy, that simply means redundancy आपको पता है, and redundancy is uh, something without repetition. Fine. Basically, when you were in your first year, you were just chilling, you were just enjoying, because हर कोई स्टूडेंट ऑफ द ईयर जैसी मूवीज देख के आता है कॉलेज पे. Fine. So what people used to do when they were in class 12, so they just used to fantasize on this कि भाई मैं कॉलेज जाऊंगा, कॉलेज जाने के बाद फर्स्ट ईयर में मेरा वेलकम होगा तगड़ा वाला. फाइन. एंड फर्स्ट ईयर में if your fate will be strong, maybe you would find a girlfriend. फाइन. सो बेसिकली ये होता नहीं है कॉलेज में, ये कॉलेज में होता नहीं है ये चीजें. फाइन. सो आप फिर से सेकंड ईयर में वही बनने का ट्राई करते हो. और अब फिर से थर्ड ईयर में वही बनने का ट्राई करते हो। बट मैन, हैव यू चेंज योर सेल्फ? if if Katan was someone in the first year, and that guy is still the same in his second year, and is still the same in his third year. So man, there is something fishy. Katan is redundant. Katan's life, Katan's or anyone else's life, XYZ, their life is redundant. कोई चेंज हो ही नहीं रहा है उनकी लाइफ में. They're in their first year, चिल कर रहे हैं, सेकंड ईयर चिल कर रहे हैं, थर्ड ईयर चिल कर रहे हैं. मैन, देयर शुड बी a change, right? Make your life clean. Everyone, make your life clean. And what's that clean means? Something which is always changing. There's a very famous quote that is, the person which you are at 23, you cannot be the same person at 28. And if you're the same person at 23 and 28, man, you have wasted your 5 years. Your 5 years are waste. So, same goes in the programming. Redundancy create halt. Redundancy creates more intervals of time. और हमें टाइम ही तो बचाना है. So, functions are being used to write the clean code. Clean code means a code with less redundancy. Redundancy means repetition. Functions are being used to achieve code reusability. I just want to reuse something which I have written earlier. That's it. Guys, are we on the same page? Am I making sense? Are we on the same page? सबको समझ में आया? What are functions? Give me a thumbs up, everyone, so that I can move ahead. Fine. So from the very beginning, like when we have started this session, we are just revolving around how can we reduce our time, how can we make the solution more optimal, how can we reduce the amount of time which we are taking to write that code. So what's time, yaar? What is time? Why my whole story is revolving around time? Time नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा ऐसा? The thing is, let's have an example. टाइम कितना बड़ा इफेक्ट डालता है डेली लाइफ में और आपके प्रोफेशनल लाइफ में, आपके फाइनेंशियल लाइफ में, एज वेल एज आपके पर्सनल लाइफ में. फाइन. देखो कैसे. Why this whole world is revolving around this time factor. Fine. So let's say there's an event of Diwali, and I have two e-commerce platform. The first one is my Flipkart. The second one is my Amazon. Flipkart is having billion days, and I'm not getting the name of the sale that Amazon have. So let's say I just went to their platform and I just have to buy a product named XYZ. And what I'm doing, the moment when I so what the whole thing is, if you'll be searching anything, let's say, let me just open it. Let's see here. Let's say I just open my Amazon and I just want to search a recliner. So when I'll be putting R, I will be getting some suggestions which starts with R. Then I put E, then I put C, and now I haven't given the whole instruction. I haven't written recliner, but I'm getting getting the suggestions for that. That man, do you need recliner or do you need rechargeable battery? Because everything starts with REC. And let's say I just open the Flipkart, and the moment when I'm typing R, I'm not getting any suggestion. The moment I'm typing E, I'm not getting any suggestion. Or I'm getting a suggestion after 50 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. I'm writing REC, and the moment when I'll search recliner, this whole page is loading in 1 minute. Every single thing which I need, which I want, I'm getting the whole thing in 1 minute. I just have to wait for 1 minute. Now, let's say if a user has to wait, so user doesn't wants to wait. User will change the platform. User will move himself to Flipkart from Amazon, right? And he'll open the Flipkart and will order a recliner because Flipkart is fast. That's it. So the time thing is important just because your time will specify the amount of operations you need, the amount of instructions will be executed. So in the today's world where people are just being following the race, people are everyone is damn busy to make his career, to make his life, to make things worth it. I No one wants to wait. If I'm giving any command, I just want the response as quick as possible. So why there's a delay? Why at Amazon I have a delay? That delay is just because of one thing. And the hero of a guy, the hero of our whole data structures, and the person or the entity which will be the most popular guy in the whole data structures journey is time complexity. Guys, are we on the same page? आप साथ हैं मेरे? Are we
Yes,
on the same page?
yes.
So anyone who can help me with
Sir, are you
this.
saying about one notations?
Yeah, I'll be telling you.
Like,
Yeah, I'll be telling that. But before that, what is a time complexity? Anyone who can help me in this. What is a time complexity? I'm expecting this answer from my students because I told them earlier. What is a time complexity?
सर जो एल्गोरिथम का एग्जीक्यूशन टाइम है वो इनपुट्स के साइज के साथ इंक्रीज हो.
एल्गोरिथम का जो एग्जीक्यूशन टाइम है वो
The
इंक्रीज.
execution of a time of algorithm,
हम्म.
the input size increases.
हम्म. Anyone else? Yeah, Kathan, somewhat correct. Anyone else who can help me with this? किसी और को कुछ पता है टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी के बारे में?
Using
हाँ.
using lot of iterations in code, right? So the time complexity is increased. Depends upon code or time complexity will reduce.
Time complexity. Man, I'm not talking about the situation. I'm just asking what is a time complexity? What do you mean by time complexity?
reducing the
Efficient code.
code size in efficient way. Writing the
The
code
number
in
of
efficient way.
operations needed to run.
Writing the code in efficient way.
Writing a code in a sufficient way, in an efficient way.
Through that, the time
The number of
complexity will
operations
be
needed to
reduced.
run.
The
Okay.
algorithm, the time taken by the algorithm to execute it.
The time taken by the algorithm to execute. Somewhat correct. Anyone else जिसके पास
So the
अभी भी
number
कुछ
of
और है?
operation needed to run an algorithm, like
We need to run an algorithm.
number of operations.
Okay, fine. Got that. So, see here. सबसे अच्छी बात यह है कि एवरीवन नोज लिटिल लिटिल बिट अबाउट दैट और किसी को पूरा भी पता है, किसी को थोड़ा बहुत पता है, किसी को बेसिक्स पता है. दैट्स फाइन मैन. द बेस्ट थिंग इज कि थोड़ा बहुत पता है सबको. फाइन. सो व्हाट इज टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी? सो एक सबसे let's say there will be a person who will be giving a definition that is, sir, the amount of time taken by my code to execute. एक दूसरा बंदा आएगा and that person will be giving me a definition that is, sir, it is the amount of time which grows according to input. दोनों सही हैं अपनी जगह पे. But the thing is, we as an individual cannot calculate the exact execution time. Fine. Even I think I've already given this example in the class also. So the computers which NASA have, they are supercomputers. Supercomputers means they're efficient around 99.8% efficiency. But they cannot even tell you the exact execution time. It will be always 99% or 99.1% or 98.8%. They have supercomputers, they have a very vast technology, but man, why they are not still able to find the exact execution time? Being an individual, we are not that much of advanced जिससे हम exact execution time निकाल सकें. We are not that much of efficient right now. We can put an exception that assumption would be 99.8% correct. But what about that 0.2%? Mans, just tell me one thing. Let's say, so there was a situation of war in between India and Pakistan, right? So let's say what they were doing, they were putting missiles. They were putting missiles to a country in our country, and that missiles were not able to hit the target. And our anti-missile system is damn strong. They got to know this thing that some missiles are being targeted to that particular place, and they will destroy that missiles. Tell me one thing: if there would be a delay of at least, if there would be a delay of 2 seconds, will we be able to destroy that missiles? Let's say that missile gets entered. That missile. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a moment. Okay, fine. Sorry for the disturbance. Fine. So I have. So tell me one thing, Priyanshu. Let's say that missile was targeted at X place. Fine. And the release point of that missile was 9:02 p.m. And I got to know at 9:03. Now tell me one thing, Priyanshu, क्या हम उस मिसाइल को रोक पाएंगे कभी? Will we be able to
No,
destroy that missile? भाई
no.
सिर्फ एक मिनट का तो डिफरेंस है. क्या ही होगा एक मिनट में?
1 मिनट में बहुत कुछ हो जाएगा.
एक मिनट का जो डिफरेंस है ना, वो इतना बड़ा डिफरेंस है कि उस एक मिनट में वो 10 मिसाइल छोड़ सकते हैं. इन टर्म्स ऑफ सिक्योरिटी, इन टर्म्स ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी, हम 0.1 सेकेंड्स का भी डिले नहीं देख सकते. सो हियर we have to write an algorithm, we have to write something, we have to write implementation in such a way कि उसकी टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी इतनी ज्यादा अच्छी हो कि वो कम से कम टाइम ले. द टाइम शुड बी मिनिमम एंड द रिस्पॉन्स शुड बी fast. And an algorithm which specifies that the time would be minimum and the response will be fast, that algorithm is called as optimal solution. That's it. Now let's get back to the topic, that is time complexity. So time complexity is not the amount of time taken by your code to execute. It is the amount of time. It is the amount of time which your looping statement takes. What looping statement means? Let's say what I'm doing, it is the amount of time your loop takes to perform all the iterations. It is the amount of time your looping statement makes to complete the whole iteration. Fine. Let's say, before starting with anything, let's say, what is a loop? Anyone? Priyanshu, Kathan, Yash, anyone, Vaibhav. What is a loop?
सर एक इटरेशन चालू होती है जब तक उसको पर्टिकुलर एक वो जैसे एक एरे में है, अगर उसको नंबर नहीं मिल गया तब तक वो चलते रहेगा वो लूप, और जैसे उसको नंबर मिलेगा वो लूप से बाहर आ जाएगा,
लूप
एंड हो
से
जाएगा।
बाहर आ जाएगा। फाइन। एनीथिंग एल्स? कोई और कुछ ऐड करना चाहता है? थैंक यू प्रियांशु। एनीथिंग एल्स?
So repeatedly execute the block of code in program.
Repeatedly executes the block of code. Okay, fine. Fine, fine, fine.
Executes the scope of the code and finishes the code at the right time.
Okay, okay, fine. So what's loop simply means? The moment when you'll hear about loops, you will always be revolving around a word that is called iterations. What's iteration? Iteration simply means performing something till the stopping condition is being met. So what's iteration? Why we use loops? To execute something again and again, again and again, again and again until the stopping condition gets met. So if I'm using a loop, there will be a starting point and there will be an ending point. And in between these 2 points, I'll have to do something again and again. I'll have to iterate something again and again. So why we use loops? We use loops to perform iterations, and what iterations are? Executing something again and again to get the solution. And let's say in the first execution I got one. So this one will not be repeating. The logic, the implementation can be repeating again and again. But let's say in the first iteration I got my answer as one. So in the next iteration it should not be one. It should be 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only the iterations will be same. The implementation to achieve that iteration will be same, but the output that every iteration will give me, that will be different. That means a loop is a phenomena which will specify the iterations, and every iteration will be having something in common but with different result, executing something again and again until the base condition, the stopping condition is being met. So to use loop, you have to specify two things: where you have to start and where you will end. That's it. So what's a time complexity? Time complexity means the amount of time taken by your looping statement to complete the whole iteration. Being a good programmer, being a classical programmer, you will always be giving a definition that time complexity is the amount of time taken by your loop to complete the whole iteration. That's it. Give me a thumbs up if I'm being clear with what is time complexity. Very good, very good. The next thing we have is time complexity निकालना कैसे है and how we can configure time complexity. Fine. So let's start with a very basic example. That is, let's say how to calculate time complexity. This will be the last topic for today. Fine. We'll be starting with the problems of time complexity from tomorrow. Fine. Then we'll start with the data structures. First, we have big O notation. Fine. The second, we have big omega notation. The third, we have big theta notation. So we will be calculating the time complexity on the basis of these three parameters. Fine. Let's start with something that is big O notation, and we will be using this notation throughout the end of our data structures. Fine. So I have big O notation, right? So what's big O notation? So it will be considered as big O. Fine. So what's big O notation? This O means this is a notation. If we'll be seeing O, that means big O notation. That simply means it is an upper bound situation which is also being called as at most situation in a time complexity. So what's upper bound? What's at most situation? Let's say I told you that man, I have at most 1,000 rupees in my pocket. I have 2,000 rupees in my pocket, and that is at most. So what at most means, maybe I would be having zero, I would be having five, I would be having 10, I would be having 500, but I won't be having 1,001. That means 1,000 is the upper limit of my money. I don't have above 1,000. 1,000 is the at most money I have. I can be having 0, 1, 500, 50, but won't be having more than 1,000. So what's big O notation means? Big O notation is the upper bound situation of time complexity. At most situation of time complexity, it simply means I would be having so much of time complexities. I would be having so much of iterations, so much of relations of my time complexity. But sir, if I told you that time complexity of my whole code is big O of n, that means it can be less than n. My time complexity can be less than n, but it won't be greater than n. N is the upper limit for my time complexity. इसका मतलब if I would be saying man I'm late, I know this thing, but I would be there in 10 seconds. इसका मतलब ये है कि that person can be there in 1 second, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, but वो 10 seconds से ज़्यादा नहीं लगाए. So this 10 second is being called as big O notation in time complexity. That means my time complexity can be of any value, but it would not be greater than this value. That's it. Guys, give me a thumbs up if I'm being clear on that. So this big O notation is being called as worst case scenario in my logic. And being an engineer, we will always be thinking about the worst case scenarios. That's it. हमको नहीं मतलब है कि कम टाइम कब ले रहा है, बीच का टाइम
Sir,
कब, या
sir, please repeat it once.
yeah, fine. So the whole thing, Chetan, can I go with the whole
No
thing?
big, no big O notation.
Okay, fine. So big O notation is the atmos situation in my data structures. What's the atmos situation? Let's say I told you that I have at most 1,000 rupees in my pocket. So maybe the situation is I would be having zero, I would be having 1 rupees, I would be having 10, 20, 50, 100 rupees. But sir, I won't be having more than 1,000 rupees in my pocket. 1,000 is the max limit. So what's upper bound situation means the time complexity which is being represented with big O notation, that simply means the time complexity will be having of any value, but it would not be greater than that. If I have written the time complexity of my whole code is big O of n, so maybe the time complexity is 0, 1 or less than n, but it will not be greater than big O of n. So big O of n is the least value, is the last value, is the at most value, which will specify the time complexity will not be more than this. That's it. Chetan, am I clear?
Yes,
Are you on the same page?
yes.
Sir, for this lower bound won't be there, sir.
Okay. Lower bound will be your theta notation. Fine. I'm coming on that. Don't worry. I'm coming on that. Fine. Guys, am I
Yes,
clear
sir.
with this? Are you guys on the same page? Am I clear with this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Fine. So this is my worst case scenario. Worst case means ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कितना टाइम लेगा आपका कोड. Like what would be the at max range? What would be the max range of your time complexity? Fine. Now the second notation is big omega, which is being represented with this symbol. Fine. So what's big omega means? Big omega is the average case scenario. What's average case? So we just used to say this thing, na man. I'm not the guy who have scored lowest marks, and I'm also not that guy who have scored the highest marks. I'm in middle of that. Maybe the lowest marks of a student is 2 out of 10, and the highest marks of a student is 10 out of 10, and I have scored 5. So big omega is the average keys time complexity in which it specifies your code will be taking average case time. That's it. So let's say I have 0 and I have n, and there's a code which is taking the time complexity of big O of n by 2, omega of n by 2. So omega specifies the average case scenario, the average of best and worst case. That's it. So this guy will be used in a very rare way. You don't have to use this guy, but you should be knowing what's big omega notation. Fine. Guys, am I clear with that? Are we on the same page?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. The third
Sir,
notation. Okay, fine. The third notation is the best case, which is being represented by theta. Theta, and I have notation. This case is called as best case. Which is, so the worst case was my at most situation in time complexity. This theta will be called as at least situation in time complexity. So what at least situation? It simply means, let's say I told you that, hey man, I have at least 500 rupees in my pocket. That means I would be having 550, I would be having 600, I would be having 700, but sir, I won't be having less than 500. That means I would be having
सर
450. Yeah.
सर थीटा तो एवरेज केस बताता है ना, और वो
Mm-hmm.
ओमेगा बेस्ट केस बताता है.
Just a moment, man. Just a moment. I think I've mixed it. Okay, fine, fine, fine,
Yes.
fine. Give me a moment. This is called theta. Apologies for that. This is theta, and this is omega. Thank you so much. Who was that guy? Who was this guy?
नो इशू सर,
Okay,
ध्यान से.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. So I just mixed two things. Fine. So big theta is the average case scenario, and big omega is the best case scenario. Just replace the notation. Fine. Theta is for average case and omega is for best case. Fine. So let's start with omega. Fine. So for omega, that is my at least situation in time complexity. And what's at least situation for me? At least is something my time complexity will not be less than this thing. Similarly, if I have at least 500 rupees in my pocket, so I would be having 5,000, 10,000, 600, 700, but not less than 500. Fine. So at least means there can be a different situation or different amount of time complexities. But if I've written the best case time complexity of my code is big O of n, that means it can be greater than n. It can be n square, it can be n cube, it can be n to the power 4, but it wouldn't be less than big O of n. So big O is my worst case condition that holds at most situation. Omega is my best case scenario, and theta is my average case scenario. That's it. So, but you should be knowing these two conditions, theta and omega, but every time the traditional way of calculating time complexity is big O notation. So from today onwards, if we'll be calculating the time complexity, we will always be calculating with big O notation. Why we are going with a worst case scenario? Even best case or average case will also be calculated by using big O only. So what's the situation is, you will be calculating the best case and the average case time complexity, but in terms of big O only. You won't be using omega, you won't be using theta for that, right? So why worst case scenario? Why we are just going with the worst case scenario? Why we are calculating the time complexity for worst case? Why not for best? Why not for average? Anyone who can answer me this? Anyone?
To reduce the time complexity
Man, I'm not talking
of the
about the
code.
reduction and the addition. I'm just asking why, being an engineer,
The
why this whole digital world is revolving around the worst case
सर
scenario.
क्योंकि इससे ज्यादा क्या ही बुरा हो सकता है बिकॉज कंपनी बी अवेयर अबाउट दैट वी कांट गो बियॉन्ड दिस
Okay, okay.
लॉ
इससे
वी
ऊपर क्या ही
कांट
बुरा हो सकता है? This line was so deep, man. इससे ज्यादा क्या ही बुरा हो सकता है? Fine. Being a part of a college जहाँ पे बच्चे अच्छे नहीं है, पढ़ते नहीं है, तो उससे ज्यादा बुरा क्या ही हो सकता है? I won't be taking the name of that college. Fine, right?
यस सर
सो व्हाई वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो, एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल लेते हैं एंड रैप अप करते हैं एक छोटे से डिस्कशन के साथ. फाइन. सो लेट्स से आई हैव अ व्हीकल. मेरी ड्राइंग बहुत खराब है यार, तो मैं व्हीकल ही लिख दे रहा हूँ. आई हैव अ व्हीकल and the average of that vehicle is 20 kilometers per liter. And let's say this is my home and this is a place where I want to reach, and the distance between these two venues is 200 kilometers. Fine. So if I would be calculating and if I would be assuming, I would be needing 10 liters of petrol, at least 10 liters of petrol, so that I would easily go from here to here. Now tell me one thing, the whole story or my tension or my the reason for being worried will start when I'll cross 200 kilometers. मेरी जो रियल टेंशन होगी वो शुरू कब होगी? वो 200 किलोमीटर्स के बाद शुरू होगी. वो 100 पे, 120 पे, 140 पे या 160 पे शुरू नहीं होगी. My whole my whole center of attraction, center of attention will be grabbed when I'll be exceeding 200 kilometers. भाई जब तक मैं 200 kilometers के कम हूँ, I'll be chilling, I'll be relaxed. But the moment when my vehicle will cross 200 kilometers, I'll start worrying on that. भाई अब पेट्रोल डलवाना पड़ेगा. So, the worst case scenario simply means a situation which is the last hope for you, which is the last assumption for you. मुझे नहीं मतलब है कि मेरी गाड़ी बीच में रुकेगी नहीं. व्हाट वुड बी द बेस्ट केस? मे बी 1 किलोमीटर बाद में पहुंच जाऊं अपनी जगह पे. बट my whole tension will revolve around something which is the last step of mine. So 200 kilometers is the worst case scenario for me. एक सिंपल वर्ड्स में बोलूं हिंदी में, ज्यादा से ज्यादा समय कब लगेगा मुझे इससे मतलब है, सो दैट आई विल बी प्रिपेयर्ड अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट. दैट्स इट. That's how the concept of time complexity works in terms of best case, worst case, and average case. That's it. So that's how we just end our first day of our boot camp. That is, so let me just recap the whole thing which we have discussed till now. Fine. Give me a moment. So we have started with the basics of the definition of data structures. Fine. Why we need data structures? What is data structures and algorithm? What is a data structure? What is an algorithm? How a container is being classified. Fine. And why we need algorithm? Then we have discussed what is the difference between variables and data types, the non-primitive data types. Then why we need variables. Fine. Then we have discussed the operations, the basic operations which are being used on data structures, that are searching to search something, sorting to arrange the data set, deletion, deleting something from my data set, insertion, inserting something in my data set, traversal to see the whole content of my data set. Then we have the examples of searching, which is being done for two reasons, for the availability and the index or position of my data. Second, arrangement. Then we have insertion, deletion, and then we have traversing. Fine. Then we have discussed what are functions, the motto of using a function, and what will happen if we won't be using a function. We won't be using a function, right? Then we have discussed what does redundancy means, what repetition will cost, what will be the cost of repetition. Then we have discussed uh, why we are revolving around time complexity, why time is this much of important by the examples of Flipkart and Amazon. Then what is the time complexity? What's the real definition of time complexity? You won't be giving the definition, the amount of time taken by my code to execute. It is the half or it is the one-fourth definition of time complexity. The exact definition is time complexity is the number of iteration. Time complexity is the amount of time taken by my looping statement to complete the iteration. Fine. Then we have discussed what an optimal solution is. Then we have discussed what are loops, what are iterations, and why we need iterations, why we need loops. Then we have discussed the types of ways to calculate time complexity. That is big O notation that represents the at most situation, the worst case scenario. Then we have theta notation, which represents the best case scenario. Then we have big omega notation, which represents the uh sorry, theta represents the average case, and big omega denotes the best case for me, right? At most, worst, and average. That's it. Then we have discussed why we are always revolving around worst case scenario while calculating the time complexity. That's it. So that's how we have ended the first day of our bootcamp. That's it. So guys, let's wait for more 2 minutes. You can just share your feedback because it's damn important for me. I have it's for the first time I've started something like I have given sessions in upgrad, scalar and all. But the thing is, I've started something for my own. Right? This was my first day. This was my first time. So if you have any feedback, if you have any suggestion, please unmute yourself and कोई मक्खन नहीं लगाएगा फालतू का. ठीक है? Just give me the pure suggestion or pure feedback. If there is something which I need to improve, I'll improve that. Otherwise, just tell me what sort of things which you have noticed in a very honest way. Yeah, Priyanshu, go ahead. Anyone who want to add something on my feedback or any suggestion, please बोलिए because it is important for me. Sai, Priyanshu,
Sir,
Hello,
yeah,
sir.
no,
ये
sir.
कुछ नहीं बोलना है.
सर सर मैं बस ये बोल रहा था कि सर सिर्फ 5 दिन का बूट कैंप बहुत कम समय है. अ,
Basically the thing is,
मतलब
basically the thing is ना
इसमें
कि
क्या क्या कवर
yeah,
करेंगे.
the thing is कि I have my tax and all. Fine. And with that tax and all, I have just started something. Fine. And if things are going fine, so we will make this last, right? हम इसको थोड़ा बड़ा करेंगे. That's fine. And that's a commitment.
Sir, and also we will cover the problems also, sir.
Yeah, we'll cover the
Problem
we'll
part.
cover the basic problems and the algorithms. Basically, the thing is na कि I can just start with the types of algorithms, the strategies, and the building process which everyone जो हर कोई भागता है. Fine. The thing is कि DSA से कोई भागता क्यों है? उसका reason भी बताऊंगा और ये भी बताऊंगा कि why you don't have to escape from this. भाई हमारे पास क्वेश्चंस लगाना हमारा हमारा जो मोटो है वो क्वेश्चंस लगाना नहीं है. हमारा मेन मोटो है क्वेश्चंस लगाना, वो क्वेश्चंस लगाना जो सच में इंपॉर्टेंट है. द क्वेश्चंस व्हिच आर फॉलोइंग द पैटर्न. कल हम पूरा का पूरा टॉपिक जो हमारा होगा, कल पूरा का पूरा जो सेशन होगा वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ पैटर्न के अलाउंड रिवॉल्व करेगा. फाइन. हाउ वी कैन रिकॉग्नाइज अ प्रॉब्लम बिफोर कीपिंग आवर हैंड्स ऑन आवर कीबोर्ड. हम पेन पेपर पे कैसे सॉल्व करेंगे प्रॉब्लम को. पेन पेपर पे प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने के बाद ही हम अपने फिंगर्स को कीबोर्ड पे लेके जाएंगे. ये सीखेंगे, strategy सीखेंगे, so that after these 5 days when you'll start your DSA, you will be having a vision and a path. That's it. That's all from my side. If you have any suggestion or feedback, अभी भी कुछ बोलना है, you can unmute yourself. Otherwise, I can leave because I have a meet at 9:04. Right? Someone is waiting.
Sir, try to increase the days, sir, if possible. Make it 10 days at least. It
Uh,
will be
man,
very good,
okay, 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 okay,
very
okay.
good for
Listen, listen,
us.
listen. Man, the thing is, if things goes fine, देखो, if condition लगा है, if things goes fine, if things goes fine, ये 5 days अगर मेरे successfully जाते हैं, fine, and if I would be able to gather some more people, तो मैं इसको extend कर दूंगा. That's a commitment. That's a commitment, and it's getting recorded. तो मैं जो भी commitment कर रहा हूँ, वो commitment fulfill होगी. That's for sure. Fine. Right? So if things goes fine, अगर सही चीजें जाती हैं and if I'll gather some more people, fine. That's it.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Have you take
And
classes
recording also
separately
yeah.
one to
will
one?
just pay.
You'll get it. Yeah, Jillian, you're saying something.
Have you take classes one to one
Recording will
sections?
pay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I do. But the thing is, कि, initially I was on top mate, but if you want to connect with me, you can, man. You have my number, fine. You can connect with me. That's fine, right? Or if you want me to take your mock interview, I can also do that for you. That's not a very big deal for me. Fine, Jillian. Fine.
Yeah. You have any plans? Uh, okay, okay. Yeah, understood.
टेंशन लेने की नीड नहीं है जिलन एंड एवरीवन एल्स जो यहाँ पे हैं. आई वोंट बी लीविंग यू गाइस इन द मिडिल. दैट्स अ कमिटमेंट. फाइन. ये जो मेरे स्टूडेंट्स हैं वो भी अच्छे से जानते होंगे ये चीज कि आई वोंट बी लीविंग यू इन मिडिल. फाइन. दैट्स अ कमिटमेंट. मैं आपको ऐसे स्टेज पे लाके नहीं छोड़ूंगा जहाँ पे आपको आता भी होगा और नहीं भी आता होगा. ऐसे स्टेज पे आप आ जाओगे जहाँ पे यू विल बी हैविंग अ विजन. यू विल बी हैविंग अ विजन कि भाई अब करना क्या है. अभी तक जो भी गलती की हो, जो भी चीजें की हो, वो सब हटाते हैं. लेट्स स्टार्ट विद समथिंग इन अ वेरी स्ट्रेटेजिक वे. पार्क ने जितना नुकसान, एलपीयू ने जितना नुकसान और आपके कॉलेज ने इसने आप तक जितना नुकसान किया है उसको फुलफिल करते हैं. फाइन.
Yes,
दैट्स इट.
sir.
सो प्लीज टेक केयर ऑफ योर सेल्फ एंड इफ यू हैव एनी सजेशन और फीडबैक आप ग्रुप में लिख सकते हैं. आपको कुछ भी बोलना होगा. दैट्स फाइन फ्रॉम माई एंड. कल मिलते हैं सेम टाइम. फाइन. हैव अ नाइस डे.